that just explodes on the political scene in America with a meteoric rise. Immediately they have a president, they got state houses, they got governors, they got judges, they got everybody, okay? The sheriffs, the police. They're all Native American, know-nothing, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. They hate these Kraut Germans, they hate these Mick Irish, they hate these Jewish people, they hate anybody who isn't a Protestant. You will, you know, the requirements for being a know-nothing were very specific. There's like 3 orders, right? 3 orders, and you had to do, the first degree of Sam was at an eligible WASP. First you had to be eligible, right? So you had to be 21 years of old, born in the USA, believed in God, neither one of your parents were Roman Catholic, you were raised as a Protestant, and neither you nor your wife was a Catholic. So fuck the Catholics. You believe in God, so you're a Protestant, so it's pro-Protestant, anti-Catholic, right from the get-go. That's right, that's the fucking requirements. The first degree of Sam for a know-nothing party was an eligible WASP, would then place his right hand on the Bible, raise his left hand, dashing, the young dashing WASP would pledge that he would only vote for Protestants and other native white Americans, right, Anglo-Saxons who stood on the platform of America ruled by Americans. Then they give the password and the sign of recognition and the grip. So they showed all the different fucking secrets to the club. So it was a secret order of the Star-Spangled Banner. They call themselves the American Club because they're so fucking creative. But they're white Anglo-Saxon secretive society. The Know-Nothing Party was just a fucking racist. So fucking racist. I mean, it was anti-foreigners, anti-immigrant, anti-Catholic, anti-religion. Really anti-other people. You know, this isn't a free country is what the Know-Nothings were saying. That's the first degree. So clearly pro-Protestant, only Protestants can rule. Martin Luther is our God. You know, they sit there and say the Catholics are going to bow down to the Pope, but they're bowing down to Martin Luther or their local parish, because if you're just interpreting the Bible for yourself, then that means you're making it up as you go along, right? So instead of actually having the official version, you're just making it up as you go along. So that's what the Protestants are doing. It's all bullshit anyways, right? So it's the fucking Sunnis and the Shiites. It's the Protestants and the Catholics of Ireland and fucking England still, you know, being carried out here. But, and this is also a long ass time ago. Can you imagine? There's so many Catholics. It's like 25% of the country is Catholic today. Can you imagine, you know, hating Catholics? When they're you, they believe in Jesus Christ. I love Jesus more than you. No, I love Jesus more than you. Well, I'm going to kill you for it. I love my Jesus way more than you. You don't love Jesus the way you're supposed to love Jesus. How you doing it? How you loving Jesus is different than how I'm doing it. So the first degree, first you had to be a Protestant, no fucking Catholics in your fucking family whatsoever. You had to be 21 years of age. Then you would have to swear that you would only vote for Protestants, you would only vote for Anglo-Saxons. That's all you give a shit about. So it was a very pure fucking Aryan nation type of idea. They wanted a pure blood fucking country, right? Pure blood Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And the Ku Klux Klan was Protestants. They weren't Catholics, they were Christians. So they took the Christian religion and, you know, turned it into something really fucking ugly. And actually, a lot of Christianity in all of America is really fucking ugly. Christopher Columbus, the genocide, the slavery, the murder of Mexicans, the expansion, the stealing of land, the barbarity, the shirtwaist factory, child labor. So the second degree of Sam was in, once they had shown commitment and loyalty, then a ceremony was given to them to their celebrating the membership into a full fellowship of the Supreme Order of the Star-Spangled Banner. So first you got into the club, you swore that you would only vote for Protestants, yay, but when you showed that you was going to be something, then a big fucking party was saying, ah, look at him, he's a know-nothing, and then everybody would be all excited about it. The third degree of Sam is the American Union idea. So they would pledge that they have no divisions among the states. They wanted to squash the slavery issue, so they sat there and said that they were going to have no divisions amongst the states because they didn't want any secession. They weren't trying to break the country apart. They just wanted to hate foreigners and hate Catholics. But it just seems so, you know, if you're a slave owner, if you hate black people, if you're a fucking white supremacist, it just seems the natural outpost, the very fucking next step is to, you know, hate Germans and Irish and everybody else. That ball of hatred just keeps on going, right? If you're not a black person, well, I'm not a black person because this, and this. So, you know, I hate black people. And then because I'm not like them and I'm way better. And then, well, I'm not only better than blacks, but I'm also better than the Germans, and I'm better than the Irish, and I'm better than the Italians, and our culture is supreme. And that's sort of how empires actually, they think that their culture is the best one. And actually, what is the culture? I mean, like, the fact that we're fighting for freedom and democracy in Iraq, where's the fucking freedom and democracy here? Yeah, we vote. We vote. And so there's the democracy. That's it. That's all you can... We have a Bill of Rights. We wrote some promises on a piece of paper, but they don't give a fuck about them. They only care about prosecuting you. They only care about getting their fucking, you know, notch on their fucking belt. And, where's the democracy? You know, there's no consensus-based democracy. There's no committees. There's no... They got vigilance committees, executive committees. I don't know of any fucking committees. You go to the school, it's totalitarian, dictatorship, it's autocratic, just like the fucking workplace, corporations, and in fact, after election day, it goes back to totalitarian, you know, fascism the day after. So really only one day of freedom, one day we get to choose who we get to be ruled by, but that's it. And so it's way better than the Germans loved this land because they could vote instead of having the kings and the princes and everybody in the castles in the homeland of Germany fucking oppressing everybody. They could come to this continent and do, you know, vote for their oppressors. But we're still, you know, we're voting for our oppressors. True blue democracy will be when we start to get together and we start to have committees for ourselves, when we have vigilance committees, when we have executive committees, and we fight. There's a solidarity there that's in place beforehand. So, you know, know-nothing riots blew up all over the place. You had a Washington riot in D.C. in 57. You had a New Orleans riot in 58. You had a St. Louis riot in 54. The know-nothing riot of 1856. So, again, this happened in Baltimore. The worst rioting of the know-nothing era in the United States occurred in Baltimore in the fall of 1856. Street tensions escalated sharply over the preceding half-dozen years as neighborhood gangs, most of them operating out of the local firehouses. So again, you know, when the government gets power, they start, you know, they put their boys in the fire department, they put their boys in the police department, and then their boys can do as the fuck as they please. They do whatever they want to do. So, and then once they got positions of power, you have no rights, you know, basically, fuck your life, fuck your mother, get the fuck out of Dodge because, you know, they're going to fuck you up, or you're going to be basically a de facto slave, and you're just going to have to say, howdy, mister, and don't ever look people in the eye, right? You got to avert your eyes and shit. So, know-nothing candidate Thomas Swan was elected mayor of Baltimore in 1856 amidst violence in a heavily disputed ballot. So that's the characteristic of the know-nothing party. That's characteristic of the fucking KKK and the Mississippi Plan, right? The black folks were making substantial gains in the ballot boxes, but when they started using violence, then the white radicals and white people that had thought black folks were people and black folks both stayed home. And so that allowed the know-nothings and allowed the Ku Klux Klans and the fucking racist, white supremacist Confederates to win power. And so even though they had lost the Civil War and the national policy, they were getting elected into positions of power. So, you know, Kentucky was said to have joined the Confederacy after the Civil War. So we lost the Civil War. Slavery was no longer allowed to be around, but they still had the power. They had the gauntlet, and they were bitter about it, and they probably were like, we'll get them again. The South is going to rise again. And so, you know, they're instituting fucking Confederate power. So actually, the Lincoln did more damage than, or more bad than good because he died and wasn't able to institute all his programs. The Confederate reactions have been all the way up till present day. So for 150 years, you've had reactionaries saying the South will rise again and all this other shit. So the Confederate reactionaries lasted for way fucking longer. So even though the war was won, you know, by the right side, the fucking Confederates have been bitter about it, and they haven't, like, you know, they haven't been reconstructed. I won't be reconstructed, and great for them, right? I'm going to be who I want to be, and I'm a racist and don't give a shit. So Baltimore, let's talk about the Baltimore Know-Nothing riot of 1856. The American Party, also known as Know-Nothings, had controlled the local government in Baltimore during the October 1854 municipal election, making Samuel Hinks mayor, winning majority in the Baltimore City Council. They said Thomas Swain won the 1856, so you already had a Know-Nothing who was controlling. The Know-Nothings already controlled the City Council, using fucking violence, and then he gets elected, missed more violence, so, you know, more fucking violence, more fucking bullshit. The plug uglies are here in Baltimore. The plug uglies were in Washington, D.C., and the plug uglies were in Philadelphia. So the plug uglies were a fucking nativist tribe, so it was like the Ku Klux Klan. It was the plug uglies. I don't know why they call themselves that, but, you know, they went around fighting for the fucking white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. So they were their sort of their mafia. They were their Hell's Angels security force, right? I don't give a shit about, well, I care, but it's all about the Louisville Know Nothing riots. So the point is that you have riots in Baltimore and New York and Chicago and Columbus and, you know, St. Louis and New Orleans. You have all these riots all these years, not just 1855, but throughout the 1850s. You have Millard Fillmore become president. You have governors. Charles Slaughter Moorhead become governor of Kentucky. Mayors are becoming mayors. They're mayors of Baltimore. So you have all the Know Nothing Party just takes over America, just sweeps into power out of nowhere and just captures all this power. And then eventually trumped by the Civil War and by the Republican Party. That's the downfall of the Know Nothings, was they couldn't take a stand on slavery. So there's a lot of racist elements to it, but they never came out in favor of slavery and said, you know, fuck the bullshit. And actually, if you put yourself, as a historian, you put yourself in that time frame, they were talking about the Nebraska-Kansas Act, right? You had the Compromise of 1850, which put a stop. It said, you know, it was a compromise. So some slavery was allowed, but in some spots not so. Like, I don't know, Missouri was a slave state, but Maine was not. So there's still equal balance in the fucking in Congress, right? So, but it was all, if you look at actually for the last decades right up to the Civil War, it was all about slave states. And in fact, that's what they had compromised with, slave states in the original Constitution. And so really the fucking slavers have been, you know, holding on to this peculiar institution, which is fucking bullshit, you know. So let's see here. The history of the city of Columbus. So here's the Columbus Know Nothing riots, okay? In 1855, you had riots in Columbus. The fierce prejudices excited by the so-called Know Nothing movement in the politics of 1855 produced in Columbus, as in many other places, some serious disturbances. On May 29th, the German Turnvarians, so this is the Turners, okay? The Turnvarians people numbered about 40 members. So you got the local Turner Gymnasium Club, okay? On May 29th, numbered about 40 members, paraded through the streets and marched to its appointed rendezvous with about 2 miles below the city for the purpose of holding a picnic. So Columbus, you know, this is the Germans in Columbus are just fucking marching. We're German, we're here, we're proud, get used to it, and they go to have a picnic. But the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants fucking hated picnics, right? They said, don't ever smile, don't ever have fun, we're Victorians, we're fucking angry, we're Puritan, bastard, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. We murder fucking Native Americans, we enslave Africans, we kill the fucking Germans, we take, or the Mexicans and take their land, and Germans too, it doesn't matter, Mexican, German, Irish, it's all the same to them. If you're a fucking German, crowd, or Irish, you're a damn Mexican, right, taking our fucking jobs, and not immigrating and assimilating into our fucking system. You need to be like us, and speak English, and be racist, and be a bunch of fucking butthole corporatists who only give a shit about fucking money and power and taking over other shit. But there's no culture there. It's fucking void of any culture, so don't actually do that. That was all tongue-in-cheek. And so yeah. So the May 29th, 1855, during the parade, the society's color bearer carried a red silk flag bordered with black and inscribed with mottos in yellow German letters. In the course of the day, while the Turners were enjoying their festivities in the woods, a rumor was circulated that this banner was none other than the red Republican flag of Germany. So the Germans were going to fucking try to take over America and name it Germany. How dare they? It's going to be the new Germany, the new German Republic, just like New Amsterdam and New Dutch and New fucking England and New Mexico and New, you know, Africa, Little China, you know, they're going to take over. It's inscribed with sentiments hostile to American institutions. So not only are they going to take us over, but they're saying, fuck you Americans, we're going to fucking install a German country here. Which is bullshit, but it gets dumb, ignorant assholes fucking fired up, and then they want to use violence. Fired by this suggestion, some misguided disciples of the partisan Americanism, the know-nothingisms, the know-nothingites, the fucking know-nothing bastards in prevailing met the returning Turners in the event in the canal bridge near which the corporation line was then drawn on Friend Street, demanded that the flag be lowered, declaring that no such emblem should be carried through the city. The demand being refused, one of the assailant party undertook to wrest the banner from its custodian and settle. A scuttle ensued. So that's how the riots in Tulsa started. There was a riot in Cincinnati that started out with just a white person, black person fighting. In Tulsa, there was two gangs had met up, and then a skinny old man starts wrestling with the black dude saying, "You can't have this gun." And then that fight turns into the fucking race riots. Weird how some tiny little thing fucking makes the whole thing explode.